Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Downright Annoyed with Comics. I must have missed something. Something went down there. Something went down. But anyway, I am your host tonight, Jackson, with Bored and Annoyed, along with I think we need to work Comic Man Andy's name into the title somewhere.
Yeah.
Downright Annoyed with Comics with Comic Man Andy. But yeah, he's along with us tonight. Obviously, to finally talk about the end of Saga.
End of the saga.
Yeah, the middle of the saga, right?
That's true. Yes.
But yeah, so I'm Jackson with Bored and Annoyed. I will let Andy introduce himself, and he's got some news for anyone who hasn't read this who might want to read it.
Hey, yeah, I'm ComicManAndy, hanging out with everybody tonight, from the Comic Core. I've got my own channel, but the first three issues, the first three trade paperbacks of Saga, if you're a Comixology member, or if you have Comixology Unlimited, you can borrow those for free, and you can start reading this tonight, right now. Takes 3 minutes to download. Do it.
And Michael.
Hey, what's going on? Mike from the Downright Nerdy Podcast. Appreciate you having me on your show again, or our show. Yeah, Saga was amazing. Can't wait to talk about it. And a little sad right now, a little mad, but happy. Is that weird to be feeling all three of those at the same time?
I'm pissed.
No, that means it was really good.
Yeah,
I would say. But yeah, so Andy, you didn't warn them though that they would end up purchasing the rest. So it's not going to be free.
You kind of have to. I mean,
yeah.
At least the first three trades are free on Comixology if you're doing the unlimited, because otherwise that saves you $30 right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's honest to God, I was astounded by multiple sections of this. I think it's the strongest episode that we've talked about as far as the content of the three episodes. Is the third one, so it's the last 3 volumes or 18 issues or whatever, and it is now a mind-blowing thing. I loved it so much. I'm gonna be the nerd who is telling people they have to read this even if they have no love for comics whatsoever. I think it's destined to be a television show someday. That's what I hope anyway. Somebody out there who makes, television or movies or something has to pick this up and read it and be like, okay, well, I got to do this. It's my mission. But it's sad. It's fun. It's got great action. If you like, sex, it's great there too. It is.
I don't like sex. No.
I mean, well, I think if you didn't like sex, you might be able to find stuff in this too. Actually, it tackles real issues. Some of them I thought were more reasonably handled than others, but whatever. Didn't bother me too much. Yeah, overall, I thought it was great. I thought I think all these characters are solid as hell. Even the little bit players. I had mentioned, Andy, that I was wondering if people would die. That question has been answered more times over now than maybe I would even like. It's up there. There's something that happens in one of the last books that made me audibly gasp and get upset while I was drinking my coffee reading it this morning.
Can you tell the story? Because the text was great.
So I was downstairs. The first thing I did when I woke up, I call it morning, but it was more like noon when I woke up at like noon this morning. I went downstairs with my coffee. I'm like, okay, I'll read half of what I have left now, and I'll read half of it right before, we have to record our other show, Downright Annoyed with Movies, which go make sure and subscribe to Michael's channel if you have not. I'm pretty sure everyone here has, but yeah, no, I started reading it. All of a sudden I only have like 2 issues left to finish. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to finish. And then I said, God damn it, all loud downstairs. And my wife yells down the stairs like, hey, what's wrong? Concerned. And I just said, oh, nothing. My favorite character just had his spoiler head ripped off. So that was my That was my moment. That was the most that was the best moment, worst moment, whatever you want to call it, of the entire series thus far for me. So, yeah, that's the story. And then I finished it.
That was my favorite part of my weekend. Was my phone buzzing in my pocket, and I pull it out, and Jackson's like, "God damn it, Andy."
You were waiting for those texts to roll.
Yeah,
through,
you're kind of an asshole, Andy.
And then my response is, yeah, there it is.
God, it was so good though. Thank both of you for this because it is so goddamn good. I mean, really,
your expectations had to have been just through the roof, right? I mean, like from when I first said, "Hey, read this comic book," you're like, "What? Okay, all right, yeah, I'll check it out." But
well,
then,
I don't think outside of Watchmen, I don't think I've ever read anything that was like a original idea, not based off of some superhero that I knew as a kid from this or that. You know what I mean? Okay. So for this to be, I mean, it's all downhill from here, as you said, but this is, it's not the same style as Watchmen. Watchmen's a little bit more like heady and grim, but as far as like a fun fantasy that kind of plays around in a bunch of different ideas and metaphorical crap, which I love, by the way. That's like my favorite kind of stuff. I'm a big Star Wars fan. So, you know, I just thought it was glorious. A+ overall. It's fantastic.
Yeah, A+ overall for me as well. One of my favorites. Yeah, I love the Will ripping his head off. I love to hate it. You know what I mean? But I mean, what a great end to a character, though, right? I mean, when you think about it, like
that's one of the most dynamic character arcs that I've ever read.
It's the best character.
Yeah.
It's the best character, and they fucking killed him. And you know what? That is what makes you want to turn the pages, though. Yeah. Because if that happens right when like everything's getting better for him overall, I mean, he has that one moment where he loses it a bit, which was great too, because you think he's going to attack Elena when he's having his like nervous breakdown on the drugs or whatever. Yeah. And then he puts the cannon to his own head and you're scared there because you don't want him to do it. Right. Yeah. But then he just gets his fucking head ripped off. Like, you know,
anyway.
Yeah. So it was great though. It was great.
There's so much going on with all the characters, like having the different relationships with everyone has had some sort of contact with everybody else in the books, and it's just so it's very well written, very well written.
Yeah, can we try something here? I don't know if we've done it this way on the previous 2 episodes, but let's talk about each volume one at a time here. So you have the first one, which is they land on the comet planet thing. I forget the name of it. What is it called?
Fang.
Okay, Fang. They land there.
I'm pronouncing it Fang in my head, but it's probably wrong. I mean,
well, either way, they meet these little like ferret people, little like I don't know what animal they're supposed to be, but immediately I thought they were up to no good. That was my thought. What are you laughing, Michael? Do you know what they are? What are they?
No. I'm just looking at the first page.
Oh, yes.
I can't show it on here, but the first page,
you can't?
No, you can't. No.
The wiener.
It's when your King Robot is jacking off.
Yeah, I thought that was a little much. I gotta say.
I mean, it's just the first thing. It's just this giant. They have the ship. They have the wooden ship, and then right next to the wooden ship, they have his ship.
Let's deliver a little context for that hilarity. This is how tall the book is. This also happens to be how tall the panel of said wiener is.
Yeah, yes. So
it's my face. I think it's probably. I think the ratio is actually accurate.
Actually, Michael, when I turned the page and saw it, I thought you were in the book.
Oh, you thought so?
Yeah,
it was pretty bald. Wait,
no, but yes, if you like,
I'm leaving.
If you like big veiny cocks, is Saga the book for you? But no, that's how it opens, and I was like, oh, that's a little much, but whatever. It's funny, it's quirky. in the
Couldn't they have just gone with something average? I mean,
then you get these little ferret guys, right?
Yes, the ferret guys. So yeah, they land there, and basically the premises. And you can stop me, Andy. You've probably read this 80 times. So if I screw any of this up, let me know. But
this show is gonna be mainly you guys talking, and I'm just chuckling.
Well, yeah, you can stop us where we sound like morons. But
no, Andy. This is actually finally like the episode where you can put 2 cents in and not worry about spoiling, right?
That's true. Yeah,
you know
we're caught up. We're just as cool as you now. But anyway, so I think they land there, and it seems to me that this is kind of just like a planet where all the people or creatures that have lived there have had to deal with all this bullshit from the war that's going on. It's just constant fighting. Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
I thought it was a comet.
Yeah, world is in world or whatever.
Because
planet, whatever.
Yeah, okay, got it. All right.
But yeah, so they land there, and essentially they're out of fuel, so they're stuck there. And right when they land, it's like, okay, we're just going to be here for a few days. We got to get our fuel and jet out. But then it's like, and there's a lot of time jumping in this saga, by the way. But they jump forward 6 months. They're still there, and they have befriended these ferret people who have kind of been let into the family. And I thought for sure that they were up to no good. But no, they're not. We lose a character in this section of the book. What's her face? The ghost. We lose Isabel.
I love her so much.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm glad you went through
I felt more for that because I liked her even more than Robot, but I felt more for that than I did with Robot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm glad. Yeah. I must say, I'm really happy that you were miserable. Yes, right. Yes, because it was.
This part was so good. The you know how she's able to project images?
Yes.
Yeah. The one like I'm coming for your taints. Like,
yes.
Taints.
Well, and what's funny is like I'm so used to how goofy the book is that like I didn't even think, oh, it's her. I was just like, oh, we've got some taint monsters now. It fits right in. You know? But yes, that was great. She goes off to basically scout an area for, I believe, Prince Robot, because she's like, well, you shouldn't risk your life. I'm already dead already, so I'll just go do it. And she does get killed again. By the two-headed, I forget what's the name of that bounty hunter?
The
Michael?
March.
The March, yeah. So all of the freelancers all have names: the Will, the March, the whatever, the this, the that. She gets killed. Everything goes to shit on that planet, and the trans lady ends up going out and saving the day and bringing back the fuel. And I did not expect an emotional moment in that portion of the story, except for at the end, right after a kiss is shared between, and I always forget the main character's name. Look at me. I'm
Marco?
just here. No, the girl telling the story. What's her name?
Hazel.
Hazel. Right before they're about to leave, there's a moment where she bonds with the ferret, one of the ferrets, and it's like,
oh yeah.
She gives him a kiss, and then they have to leave, and the ferrets stay, even though they're heading towards one of those world eater things. I forget what those are called too. Sorry, I'm a novice here.
The baby thing, right?
Yeah. And basically they're all going to die, and she leaves, and there's a couple panels where
time suck. That's it.
Time suck. Yep. And there's a couple panels where essentially she's doing the narration thing and talking about how the moments, that first date that you just, the person never called you back, or the moments in life where it's like the things that eat at you are the missed opportunities and the things that you wonder what could have been. Yeah. And I was just right there. I was amazed. I was amazed that was coming from this story. I should know better by now reading it, but yeah, this is we do get a new character too in this. Well, I mean, we do get several, but I mean, like this other new character that controls the will. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
That was interesting. What did you think about this?
That comes in book, I think middle of book 8.
No, this is 7. Book 8. This is still 7 here.
7. Oh, so end of book 7 then.
End of book 7, yeah.
Which is the next part of our conversation, Michael. That's the next arc. Stop skipping ahead on us
Am
here.
I skipping ahead?
I mean-
Why am I? Where were you? I was trying to
The
find
end
you.
of the end of the 6th issue is the
Got it.
black
All right, I see.
pages.
Yep.
But yes, then they have 3 or 4 black pages. Which, Andy, thoughts on that?
Well, after I want to return to one heartbreaking moment at the end of chapter 38 when Isabel dies and Hazel reels and feels it. That makes
Yeah.
Isabel's death as a character that much more meaningful, in my opinion. Meaningful, is that the right word? I don't know. But, when a character dies, it's just some characters come and some characters go. But that's the character that is going to stick. And she even says it, is that some people in your life come and go, but then some stick. And I think that's a phrase similar that she uses in referencing Isabel leaving. This is just a heartbreaking. This story arc through and through is just heartbreaking. And then you get all the way to the end of that first or book 7, and if you want to call them the meerkats or whatever they were on Fang, the comet Fang, that stayed behind and believed in their god, believed that they would be saved, they get sucked into that time suck. That comet gets sucked into the time suck, and then every page thereafter is just a black abyss.
Am I wrong, or is that the end of book 6 of this? That's the end of the first arc in the story,
7,
right?
yeah.
7?
Yep.
Oh, volume 7.
No, volume 7. You're thinking of issue 6 of volume 7.
Yeah, I'm
right?
going crazy. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, but that's the end of the 6th issue of volume 7, because there's 6 issues per volume.
I do want to touch on Prince Robot's moment from that section of the story too, because he sends off what's her name, the ghost, Isabel.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
To go find the people, and she ends up dying, and he goes, "Oh shit!" And I don't know if it's exactly connected, but he ends up taking some flashback or whatever the hell that drug is called. Look at me, I'm just completely. Hey, thank you, Michael, for popping in. We appreciate it. But yeah, he ends up taking the drug, and he goes nuts, and he's lusting, jerking off in his room every night, thinking about Elena. And you think that he's going to go in and try and like rape her or kill her or something, and he ends up pointing his own arm cannon at his own head, which was amazing, by the way. And you really sit there not wanting that to take place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And mind you, that drug that they have on board their ship were the leftovers that Yuma was using, and Yuma and Marco overdosed in the last series.
Yes.
So I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, he got lucky that he didn't overdose. And because Alana even talks about, well, who knows what's going on in your brain right now with that drug, because nobody's really studied what it does to robots or androids, as they call them.
The blue bloods.
The blue bloods.
Those poor blue bloods. They're so misunderstood. But yeah, I thought the first section was great. The volume, now, is there anything in volume 7 that I didn't touch on that anybody would like to discuss quick before we move on to abortion land?
There's a phrase in here that really hits home for me, and it may not resonate with everybody else watching or listening or you guys, but if a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, then a family is more like a rope. We're lots of fragile little strands, and we survive by becoming hopelessly intertwined with each other. If that's not the best description of this entire story or this entire arc or everything of Alana and Marco and Hazel, and holy shit.
Oh, the whole family though too. Like they're all a family.
Yeah,
they've all messed up.
This whole saga might as well just be called family too. You could do that too, because I mean, really though, it's just about all these different people coming in and just becoming a part of this family tree, living in a tree. I guess I don't know.
Still have not figured out what was in the box that Gwendolyn got from, that secret CIA blonde
Oh yeah, I don't think we
Oh
know.
no, that's in that's in issue 55. Haven't you read it?
Well,
Oh no, it's not out yet.
Yeah, right, exactly. We don't know. The CIA guy, yeah.
But what she does is she gets this golden box that has something in it. And that's the box that the freelancers, the crew, remember the freelancers that died in the last arc? Their buddies come back and they want to avenge them. Well, somehow Gwendolyn's transferred that golden box to this other group of freelancers, and they're out to avenge their buddies. That golden box gets used, and something gets sucked into that time suck. Because originally in the story, the Comet of Fang was going to safely pass by the rings of the time suck until that golden box gets used, but we never get told what's in that golden box.
Yeah, they caused the death of all those people, basically. But yeah, I don't think we know exactly what it was. Does it matter?
It's just it's just me wanting more from what I have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. What a selfish asshole you are, Andy.
Well,
it's just not good
it,
enough, huh?
It's just fun to like just explore the lore. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Especially when this is essentially one of your favorite things out there, like in your collection. You're like, I just want to know more about it because we're not getting anything new for God knows how long.
You start to dig, you start to pull back layers after you read it 2 or 3 times, and you're like,
yeah,
I just want more. I want more. Like, for God's sakes, in that book, when she steals fuel from the March's ship, why didn't they just get in the March's ship and leave? We're talking like the Gucciest freelancer that we've seen so far in the Saga storyline, to the point where she even smelled his conditioner. That's how she knew that he was in the area. She smelled his conditioner. So we're talking like the Gucciest freelancer we've seen so far. Why didn't they just take his Gucci gold-plated ship?
It's not their ship, man. It's like the Millennium Falcon. Thing's a hunk of junk, but that's their ship.
Look like a couple of testicles. So,
but yeah, no, they feel a connection to that tree. That tree's gotten them through some tough times. You know,
I mean, it's an emotional connection to the tree just to have because the tree it like chooses its crew, right? If I'm not mistaken.
And it's,
that was long ago. I don't remember.
I know, but what I'm saying, like since then, they still have a connection, though, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been if I remember correctly at the beginning. They say that it would not have become operational if it had not chosen or allowed them to operate it, and it essentially becomes their home through this entire story, regardless of where they're at in the universe.
It literally plants its roots in the planets that it lands on.
In my eyes, the tree itself is almost a character too.
Yes.
No?
I'd be sad if the tree died.
Yeah, me too. I would. Like if they would have gotten that ship, I would have been like, what about the tree?
Yeah.
Kind of fucked up. And then if they got back into try to get back in it later, like the tree would be like, no, you cheated on me.
So that means it'll die in the next like 8 issues of the book because everything you become attached to gets destroyed.
Yeah, exactly.
The second volume that we read, volume 8, it revolves around them going to because I guess at the end, I should say at the end of volume 7, they get a bump and Elena falls, and it's believed that the son that she was going to give birth to has passed within her.
Yeah, so they really touch bases on the fact that she got pregnant again. This entire time we've been talking, we didn't even touch base on that really.
Well, we talked about it last week, 2 weeks ago. Because the last one's cliffhanger was that she was pregnant. That was like the big cliffhanger, which I can't believe they got to read the next book like a month later after that. That's just crazy to me. But yeah, they go to Abortion Town, and it's all of a sudden it becomes I was thinking of it as Westworld in Saga. It was almost like we were living in a Western. You had the bandits and at the same time.
I was having a lot of fun with this. This was probably one of my favorite parts of the entire.
Really? This is probably my least favorite.
Really?
Of all of the.
Western stuff.
But let me. So I love the Western stuff, and I love like the bandits who sneak up on them and go after them, and they try to hang the trans character and everything.
Yeah.
What I thought was kind of a weakness in this, and I was talking a little bit about it with Andy before you hopped in, is that. It's a very this story deals in metaphors, right? So this is kind of a political take on the whole pro-life versus pro-choice thing, and I'm more on the side of the pro-choice people in the book, don't get me wrong, but I I try to understand where the other side is coming from, and I felt like in this section they were painted as kind of dumb grunts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, well, I mean, they didn't give too much of a backstory to really understand them at all. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll get that. I don't think we'll get it later.
No, I don't think so.
No. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I could see how you could think that.
But I still like all the like, oh, they show up and it's like a wolf monster with like six hanging.
Yeah. To be quite honest with you, I know that like that what they were going for was the pro-life, pro-choice.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that part, but I'm just saying that like for me, I just got so excited when I saw cowboy hats and horses that I mean, because that's one of my favorite genres of all time. It's like as if I didn't like this book enough. Now it's a Western,
Well, and just seeing Abortion Town on like a big,
that was so just great. Honky. It's honky.
Oh yeah, I liked a lot of it. But go ahead, Andy.
I mean, they're going for that spaghetti Western kind of feel a little bit.
Yes, and it worked. Like, it's funny because even their dialogue, I started to read as if it was a Western. Like, I imagined them talking like they were in a Western,
Yeah. I kind of want to just touch on Hazel's relationship with oh gosh, what's her name? The one who the robot falls in love with.
Oh, the trans girl.
Yeah, what's her
name? I keep thinking the name is Petrie in my head.
No, something like that.
I think I shortened it to Petrie in my head because I could never figure out how to pronounce the actual name.
I loved that whole thing, by the way.
But no, they're like Hazel's relationship always like asking about like sex and things like that, and she's like she's this battle-hardened woman, right? And she just can't handle a conversation about this with a kid, Right. It's great. I love that back and forth.
Yeah, I really liked her character, both of those characters a lot. I love that idea that it's like, stop talking to me about this kid. And then the mom shows back up. She's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually at that panel right now. Also, can I ask you a question about
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, little touch point too, Andy. We talked about in the first episode not really fully understanding what was on the screen for Prince Robot throughout the books, and it's like, yes, it's clear that I love the idea that there's an entire race of beings that they have to wear their heart on their sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
They can't hide anything. Really
summed it up way better than what I was trying to spit out on the first episode. Is they're wearing their heart on their sleeves, and that's one of my favorite portions too about the first book. Is Hazel and that meerkat boy are sitting there watching Prince Robot sleep.
Meerkat, that's what they are.
Yeah, they're like watching him sleep, and then he wakes up. He's like, you perverts! I told you to stop watching me sleep.
Yeah, because he only dreams about perverted shit. So yeah.
I completely forgot. In this volume, we see that Alana has magic powers and she's able to project her unborn son.
Yes, and then there's the issue of how can I take this away from Hazel, who immediately has such a strong bond with the son that will never be born. But it's not her son though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's not. It's a possible. It's a possible future, right? I'm sorry, Andy. Is that right? No.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Okay,
but it's all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
did you guys catch why she had powers and how that worked out?
Yes.
No, I don't remember. Can you just
go, Andy? You're gonna tell it better than I can.
So basically, what happens is only someone of Mooney blood can spellcast. Well, once her son passes away inside of her, his ability to spellcast, even as a
it's because he's inside her.
Yeah, she gains that ability once her son passes away. When she gains that ability to spellcast, we see it, and she's completely caught off guard. But that's when she also does that forecasting spell that her son becomes a part of their life as a ghost, almost like Isabel.
Right.
and that's where this book really kicks me square in the feels so hard that I almost hate reading it, because that is just kind of a magical moment between Hazel and her potential brother that she'll never see or grow up with.
Well, and the whole idea that like when someone has a miscarriage, which happens far more often than we acknowledge, and the idea that, I mean, how do you cope with all of the possibilities that you might have had that child have lived? Just incredible. It really was.
That's that what if moment you talk about, the what could have been.
Right. And it's the other version of it. You know what I mean? So, this shit is genius. It really is.
Yep. Also, so I mean, I don't know if you have anything else to say about that. The next chapter in this, we see Billy as a kid, the Will as a kid.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that was great too. The flashback with him and his sister and the abusive father.
Yep.
Yeah, the abusive father, and then like he has like then there's this other freelance guy. The letter is what he calls himself.
That's essentially the Will's uncle.
Got it.
Yep.
Yeah, the uncle, right? He essentially saves him from Billy or from the dad. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And then the sister's there too.
Notice that.
I wish we could have seen more of his sidekick, the little lizard guy.
I love how they all have a sidekick.
Yeah.
Look, he's standing in the backyard with a fucking axe off his belt.
He's got an axe on his holster.
Yeah, he's a badass. Yeah.
Okay, Mike, pull up the next panel. Pull up that panel where he takes care of business. Yeah, he's got the axe in his hand, and just read that last bottom panel, panel for panel to us really quick.
All right, don't, Steve. You don't even. Damn, look how crisp that blood looks on your adorable psycho cheeks.
Yeah, it's great. I have an Uncle Steve, by the way. So,
nice.
Psycho from childhood.
But I mean, like, he has an eye patch too.
He's a badass, dude. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I want a movie of this so bad. There's so much shit, and I know that it would never be as good, and I'm only going to be disappointed with it. But there's just.
If they do, I got a casting call for this guy. It's gonna be Keanu Reeves.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's essentially gonna be a John Wick with an eye patch and an axe, in my mind.
I'm shocked, by the way, on that note, that there haven't been spin-off comics of this already.
Right. Well, did you say something about eye patch?
Yeah, the eye patch.
He has an eye patch.
Okay, well, speaking of eye patches,
Jesus.
Did you know that in the Bermudas, the price of a slice of cherry pie is $3.50, but then in Cuba, a price of pecan pie is $2.50. Those are the pie rates of the Caribbean.
It's not as good as your Superman one last week.
No, it's not. That's bottom of the barrel right there.
But yeah, anyway, so like, what's her name? This chick is trying to find anybody that the Will loves, right?
Yes.
To try to kill in retribution, because supposedly he killed a former lover or something like that, right? Who ended up being an asshole himself.
Yeah, it was from the sex planet.
Yeah, exactly. And he or she didn't care. I can't even tell what it is. But either way, they're just determined to find out anything about the Will as possible. And then in the dream catcher scenes or whatever, they're extracting all these memories, and then he finds out about Alana and Marco and Hazel. But I felt so bad for the dog.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't really, to be honest, I don't give a shit about that dog.
I know, but it's still kind of. I'm like,
where's
really?
Lion Cat?
Man, my cat's where it's at.
Yeah, Pinky's out there. Ken's watching. Ken and Kurt, maybe.
Yeah, you asked, Jackson. Are people gonna start dying or what?
Yeah.
And the look on your face from the last episode, I wish we could bring that up. But yeah, that was good.
I was not thrilled. I was really upset. Really, I was really pissed. And I knew when it happened that I'm not going to get any answers or anything for however long I have to wait for for actually going and picking up a comic book every month at the store.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to do it.
You're
So
gonna need a pull list, man.
The going back to that Dreamcatcher thing, it was a clever way to kind of do flashbacks, for us. Which kind of neat. We get to see like the Will's true feelings for Gwendolyn and how he ended up with the dog instead of the lion cat. Remember how I had that question last show? That was kind of neat.
This Magic VCR cost more than my first apartment, but it was so worth it. And you see the cords coming from the device like plugged right in the side of Will's head.
Yeah. And then goes to show that her house is literally on like this floating jelly ship.
Yeah, it is a spaceship.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. How does this end again?
The jelly ship was sweet.
Yeah, that was cool, huh?
I like when they rewound a little bit into the Will's dreams or memories or whatnot. To one of his encounters with the Stalk, they're essentially fighting little green men, little gray aliens.
Oh yeah,
and then he kills one of them, the last one, right?
Yeah,
the one that surrenders.
Yeah, surrenders is like I've got a girl. I've met somebody, and I just got out of the cancer ward last year. He tells him every sob story he can think of, and he just stabs him right in the eyeball.
Yeah. And then after that, we go to we go back to Goose and Squire, and then the two reporters.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Their whole thing's great in this too, by the way. The reporters. Trying to get this really important story out.
Talk about deaths that kind of hit you. I mean, when the dude found out that his reporter significant other died, that was like, that got me too right there. That was a good one. That was a good death.
That's middle of the next book.
Yeah, middle of the next book, but my God.
Good deaths all around.
I like when they when they go back to the reporters, the photographer and the reporter, they're basically starving to death on the world where they left Squire and they left little seal dude.
Goose.
I've read this so many times I can never remember his name. And Friendo. And they talk about murdering Friendo to eat him.
You got to do it. You got to do what you got to do.
I love
I was just gonna say that creature that only the blue bloods can see, because they can see the insides of people, which is funny because they project their inside thoughts on a screen and they can also see inside of other characters. I thought that was kind of clever too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty fun. That I want to know what that creature looks like though on the outside.
Well, it's invisible to everybody else.
Right. But yeah, that was great. I thought Goose was going to bite the dust there for a second. Would have been pretty upset about that.
Yeah, Squire couldn't take the shot. So
no,
I mean, it's kind of neat seeing like he's not going to follow in his father's footsteps to some degree.
Yeah, his father has no problem taking the shot ever.
No,
so.
And then you get to Alana and Marco and Hazel arriving on that world, and this is something that I didn't catch the first couple of times I've read this. But this panel, where they're all cool and all hanging out, you actually get so much detail in the art that you can see Alana's massive stretch marks from her second pregnancy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's great.
I had a question, Andy. You probably have a better thing. In the very back end of this book, how it has these right here. Are these cover arts for the other issues?
Those are actually retailer incentive versions of number 43.
Yeah, because I got this one, this one right here.
That's my favorite cover.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. But I mean, these two covers are probably my favorite just because of the Western feel for it, right?
So you can find them. They came polybagged, and once in a blue moon they show up on eBay still polybagged.
Yeah,
the black and white one I think was the more expensive one, and the colored one I think was running about 20 to 25, 35 bucks.
Yeah. Okay. I might start hunting for it.
And I'm not quite sure why they decided to do a retailer incentive on that issue after the last retailer incentive they did was on number 19 with Alana on the cover in her get up and outfit for that TV show that she was doing. That was the last retailer incentive that I remember them doing. And then they go all the way into the 40s and decided to do one on this one. But
I don't know, but tell me you don't want to buy these right now.
Yeah,
I want to get a little plush goose.
it's tough. That stuff is tough to find because Saga fans are rabid for that stuff because it's not like you can just go anywhere and just order all of this stuff constantly. They don't continue to mass produce it all.
Well, Riley just bought a t-shirt printing machine, so I'll have her make you one.
Print me a Prince robot shirt.
All right,
please.
sounds good. I'll give her some homework. She's bored, so
Give him the big dong.
Yeah. The self-portrait, Michael.
But what I want to know is if Fiona Staples ever comes back to the United States and does a convention in the United States, I got to know what her inspiration was for the coloring of the horse, because donkey or horse. Yeah. Because the first thing that comes to my mind is Fruit Stripes gum.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Every time, and I'm like, I gotta pick her brain. I gotta know what her inspiration for that was, and it was probably just from an artistic standpoint of adding color.
So. Can we get into the hard part of the show?
Yeah. The end?
The last 6 issues or the last volume? Yeah.
You know what I really like, just because I'm just throwing it in, it's just the first thing that first page is when the will is in those chains like a genie.
Oh, it's amazing.
You know?
Yeah.
That was so clever. I loved it.
Oh, you mean just
don't go further up, but yeah.
Just that one, yeah. Because there's more dongs.
Yeah, they love dongs, by the way.
They do.
They really make it hard to talk about this.
Oh,
I got to recommend it to people. Hey, dude, you got to read Saga. There's dongs on every 7 pages of the whole story.
That's a trap. Don't tell them. Don't tell them and just wait for that text message.
But yes, this
pun intended, Andy.
The final arc that we get is so brutal. So many things go down that I really am pissed. I'm really pissed.
Did you feel? I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go.
I keep talking over you. Do you feel like you had to read this a little slower because there was so much going on in this?
No, I went faster.
Did you?
There was less. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but the final issue is almost all art. The fight, like Marco fighting the Will.
Well, think Death of Superman 75.
Oh, look at you! You just read Death of Superman, huh?
That correlates. That correlates as the issue progresses. The panels get larger, and the text drops off, and it's like bam, bam.
Oh, I was like flying through the panels though. Like I feel like I need to go back and soak it in because
that's the point I was making. I mean, maybe there's just so much going on, and even in the sense of the artwork, that I just wanted to just sit and just look at it all. You know what I mean?
I guess we should probably just deal with the fact that, I mean, everybody dies, right?
Is Marco dead?
I hope so.
I think he is.
That's a great point to make.
I don't think so. I don't think he is. I hope he is, but I don't think he is.
We're talking a universe with lots of magic, lots of possibilities. I mean, I don't know how you're going to recover from getting your head ripped off. But like Marco, I don't know. There's a spell. There's very costly spells. Maybe Alana gives her life for him.
No, hold on. Can I stop you guys here? So, okay, first off, it's not just the fact that he gets shot. It's what the narration is saying during that part about how some of us never get to grow old.
Yes.
And then there's also the fact that if they don't have him die, then we are losing out on what will be truly a remarkable narrative as we continue on, because the idea of them dealing with the fact that he's gone, and how these 100%. writers will play with that to tug on the heartstrings, I'm really excited for.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. 100% agree. And that's why I'm saying I hope we're wrong. I hope I'm wrong in the sense that I think that he's not dead.
Okay. So do you guys remember? I think it was in the first episode we watched where the Will got like half his fingers chopped off.
Yes.
Yeah. And then it just so happens that mechanical hand that replaced all his fingers is what he stabs through Marco at the end. Is that not irony?
I love it.
Yep.
I love the fact that he killed Marco, because now my favorite character that's left is just he killed one of the protagonists of the story. I mean, I think it's safe to say that Marco, Elena, and Hazel are the three main characters of the story. I think that's safe to say.
And Andy, I think as this last volume unfolded, I think you had a question like, who's the antagonist of this story?
So
I think it's become the will.
Reread this. Every time I sit down and reread this, I always have to ask myself, who are the actual bad guys?
Well, there aren't, because in real life, there's not bad guys. There's differing ideologies.
Things. Yeah.
I mean, I guess if I had to pick who the bad guy was so far, I'm still going with that CIA operative guy. I think he's the dirtiest one in the whole story, but we don't know that much about
King
him.
TV.
King TV.
Do you remember when they were looking back at Prince Robot's memories for a moment, and his mom was like the old black and white?
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. Amazing. Oh God, we didn't even talk about the actually, I think that was in the last part, so we haven't really skipped over it, but the whole thing where basically Prince Robot tells them that he has a story for them, since they can't print the main story with the little girl, and essentially Prince Robot and the trans woman fall in love, and it's kind of one of those where it's like, how the hell would these two ever, you know what I mean? But they make a deal where essentially they'll switch their bodies. The journalists have a connection where to keep people, keep people's identities secret after they tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of a witness protection type deal where they can swap up their bodies and send them on their way. And it almost seems like that's where the story is going. And right when like you think Prince Robot might get like a happy ending, yeah, well, he doesn't deserve one though, really.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? Like, there was no real good way for this to end for him except for what happened.
Yeah.
He was essentially just going to keep running until he couldn't. And that was when he couldn't. That was
the giant hole that's going to be missing from this with him not being in there. I don't think can be understated. He's so interesting.
Damn,
he's
you're
such
right.
an interesting character. I don't know what I was really upset.
But at the same time, like, dude, the Staples and Vaughn are so talented. We've said it themselves. I think that they have something up their sleeve. And the fact that they said that they're coming back for an additional 54 issues, they're putting a number on that. They have a plan in their head as to how this is all going to fold out and end. You know what I mean? So this is just half the story. Who knows what else is going to happen?
I want to send them hate mail personally.
I'm sure they actually have at this point, because once this ended, we are approaching, if we haven't already approached it or gotten to it, we are approaching a full 2 years since the last issue was released.
That pisses me off so much, because it's so good that how is it 2 years?
It makes me happy because I didn't wait that long.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But now I got to wait like 2 months, and I'm going to be pissed about that.
It's going to be longer than that. We don't have a date. It's going to be longer.
Yeah, all they announced at San Diego Comic-Con last year was that calendar year 2020 they would be returning. They didn't go into detail.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I've got a handful of second and third print copies that I want to round up and finish off my collection. And then I'm definitely getting the hardcovers to reread this. Solo Wookiee's right.
Dude, these are awesome, by the way. They're just solid. You could really beat someone to death with these.
But
my wife was lucky. My wife was lucky she wasn't in the same room with me when Prince Robot bit the dust.
Isn't that pretty enjoyable to sit and read it in that format?
It was, except for if you're like laying down, or it's like if you're holding it like this in bed or something and you drop it, you could really hurt yourself. But no, I had it out on the coffee table this morning, just wide open. The pages stay open. You can just have it sitting there. These are great. And I love the covers too. I'm excited for, what are we going to get when we have the teenage years?
Yeah.
What are we going to see then?
I'm curious. What are your guys' thoughts of like how the last 54 issues are going to pan out?
Yeah, I think that's the most exciting part of this episode of this show. Andy, you've had the most time to think about it. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
It's tough because we've seen them time jump. We've seen them skip a few months. We've seen them skip a number of years. We've seen them do some really crazy things. Honestly, I don't see them time jumping the family's mourning process. I see them going full-heartedly deep into that process for at least the better part of the next arc.
Could be flashbacks, though.
Oh, God damn, you make a great point. But yeah, I see us skipping a number of years at some point here. Like till we get to like the pre or the the pre-adult, like almost adult stages. Oh, man.
Late teens, early 20s.
We could do a whole nother like 2 or 3 hour show just on speculation on Saga.
Okay. How old is Hazel right now?
She's got to be 10, 11.
Okay. 12. So what's
probably 8 or 9, because they even talk about in this very book, they talk about, it was just 7 years ago that I proposed to you when they're on.
Okay.
They're on that world with the reporters. So she's
now
8, 9.
So it seems to me that every time there's a time jump, it revolves around another section of Hazel's childhood. Essentially, you see her as a baby. You see her as like a toddler when she can first start kind of speaking. You see her when she's like 5, can run around. This is the preteen right before middle school time. So I'm going to say that we're only going to time jump to like 13 or 14 years old. And then we're going to get like bratty Hazel, who's a little asshole, although she was a little bit in this, which was good. But I think we're going to get like teenage learn how to drive a car Hazel.
Get out of my head.
And then we're going to get her going on dates with or falling in love with gentlemen. We got a lot of single motherhood stuff to go through. Hopefully
more wieners, more dogs.
Yeah. So is how's that going to be handled? I mean, somebody's going to move in and try to be her dad in the dad figurehood type deal. I mean, you've got a ton of stuff you can do.
I don't know that Alana would ever allow that to happen, but
we're going to have.
I could see that.
The stepdad. You're going to have the stepdad. The stepdad who Alana has to pull her aside and say, I know your father's gone, but please try and be nice to Mark because blah, 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 blah,
The really interesting dynamic with all that is that the two main male figures in her life are now dead, the dad and the robot. There's nobody else. Right.
Yeah. Well, and the book, I mean, the story revolves around metaphorical, messages about real life things that people go through. Right. So that's where you have to assume that this is going to go, is we're going to touch on all those things that a single mother and child does go through. That would be my assumption.
That would be interesting to me. I'd be excited to see. I mean, I am going to be excited to read it no matter what, but yeah.
At this point, they got to fuck up really bad just to kill this and ruin this for everybody. You know what I mean?
They're not going to.
Anything they do is going to be good to a degree on this. This story, this is just so.
I think we're going to see a lot more backstory with the CIA guy. I think we'll see more. I think we're going to see more about the war that's going on. Yeah, the politics between the war. I wouldn't be surprised if Hazel is somehow outed or in public. You know what I'm saying? That she's now at the front page of everything, and she's the proof that these two can mate and be and live together. You know what I'm saying?
What happens with the will now that he's the one that you can't possibly think is going to live through this since he killed your hero?
God damn it.
He'll probably be the last man standing.
Does he take a full-fledged villain role, or is it more nuanced than that?
If they do, there's no straight villain. There's villains to other characters. Like characters view other people as villains that other people don't, and vice versa. You know, I think he'll be a villain in the eyes of Alana and Hazel.
What if she becomes the stepdad, or he becomes the stepdad in the family?
Oh,
That'd be rude.
oh,
That would be
wow.
rude.
You
But
know,
you know what I'm? Oh gosh, yeah, that'd be terrible.
you just crossed my mind is what if she becomes a freelancer and hunts the will?
Could happen.
And what if Goose is a sidekick?
Well, no. The one who's going to hunt the will is Sophia.
Oh,
right?
That's a good call. Yeah,
Dude.
Sophia and Lion Cat are going to take out the will.
Oh, you're giving me goosebumps. You're giving, oh man. That's so
Yeah. That's
what do you think of Gwendolyn's future then?
Well,
she's married and shacked up now.
Is she okay? Okay, I hope none of the nerds get mad at me, but perhaps they realize that's their least interesting character, and they're going to kind of try. I mean, nobody gives a shit about her, do we? Have we talked about her at all?
No, not really.
No, unless there's a relationship between Gwendolyn and the will, because they set that up and it never went anywhere.
I think that was their nice little tidy way of wrapping up her arc or her character dynamic, if you will, is that we find her married and kind of living comfortably and going out on submissions with Sophia and whatnot and doing some things, and I think Sophia is going to break off on her own as an adult, like what we kind of saw in I think it was in end of book 7, maybe somewhere in book 8. She talked about wanting to break off away from Sophia and take Lion Cat with her, because I think they wrapped Gwendolyn up right there with you're married, your wife is at home, and you're at home every day, and just kind of neatly sweep her off.
So real quick, another emotional moment for me was because I love this little asshole here. Was when the cat chose Sophia over the will. That sucked. You know, you're like, I really
great.
I know, but it was so sad because those two were great. The Will and Lion Cat at the beginning were just the best.
Well, if you look at it, the Will then at that moment when Lion Cat chose Sophie, the Will then was not the Will the Lion Cat was paired with at the beginning.
He's broken.
Oh, he's broken.
He's completely broken.
He's an alcoholic, drug addicted, drug riddled.
Hey. You know, that woman whipped him back into shape, though. I mean, he's badass again. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I love the note he left in cursive too. By the way.
Oh yeah, and then she's like, "I love the fact that he left it in."
Yes. And my cat, of course, is trying to drink my soda, which is really nice. But yeah,
there's the panel right there.
But yeah, the Will. I can't wait to see what happens next. I really can't wait.
It's gonna be fun. I really do, and I'm hoping that it doesn't get postponed too long.
Well, we have other stuff we can do to kill the time.
So we do have the last half of Superman, right?
We do. Yes, next week.
Next week we could do it. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know how much more we have to say.
How about after that? Do you have anything good, Andy?
We can think of something. You guys actually mentioned doing having me pick something, and I'd like a week to work on that, and maybe we talk about it or announce it right during next week's
perfect
the rest of Superman All-Stars.
Nope, that won't work for me.
That's fine.
It has to be now, now.
Oh man, I am never good on the spot. You know.
By the way, I just thought of something. I don't know. Does any comic strip, anything? Does anything go for this show? Like as long as it's a comic.
I would. You could, but I mean, do we want to make it all something where we're?
Well, no, I'm just saying.
I'm not going to have you guys read straight up hot garbage water by any means.
No. I'm just saying, like I don't know if you guys have ever read this.
No, but I've heard great things.
So, like, this is a little more heavy, but it's called Mouse, and it is about Nazi Germany, something like that. Or does it have to be, colorful and whatever?
I'm down for whatever, as long as it's something good. I'm that one of us likes. I think.
Okay,
I think it's fine.
All right. I'm gonna.
I wouldn't mind though doing it like one book at a time.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like instead of doing like a Saga and Superman like every other week kind of thing.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I
will
agree.
say this, that I'm definitely committing to the three of us doing an issue by issue when Saga comes back.
Yeah, just as long as we think we have enough to talk about in a single issue.
Well,
I mean, that's
instead of having a half-hour episode about 3 trades, or an hour episode about 3 trades, you could do a 20 to 30-minute clip episode about one issue.
Right.
Yeah, yep. I'm down. Yeah. Sounds good.
All right.
Good read. That was Jesus. Wow.
Yeah, that was incredible. Thank you again, both of you, for Andy, for you suggesting it to Michael, and then Michael for suggesting it to me, and also fuck both of you too, because now I'm upset.
Now you gotta wait.
Yeah. I never thought, if you told me that a book with 373 giant panels of penises would have been so wonderful, I wouldn't have believed it, but it's true. It was great.
All about that dong life.
Yeah. But I mean, it's
T-shirts forthcoming.
Honest to God, though, I was blown away. Yeah, I was blown away by this story. I am blown away. I'm not was, because it's not over. But yeah, I kind of feel like how people must have felt when Darth Vader revealed that he was Luke's father, and everybody left the theater like, what the hell? Is it true? Like, we take for granted that we know it's true, but like there's, there's shit like that where you're waiting years for resolutions to stuff. And I am so happy that I read this, hopefully with not too much time to continue.
I'm curious, how many people have you recommended this to? Jackson.
Oh, nobody. Not yet. I had to finish.
I thought you did.
Yeah. Well, no, like Home, the co-host.
Yeah.
He had read some of the beginning of it, but no, I haven't recommended it. But I will be. This is one that I will be at this point. I told my wife I'm demanding she read it. I don't think she's ever read a comic book before, so
yeah.
I'm not. I don't have many comic book loving friends, but I will be highly recommending it. I can tell it's going to be annoying to kind of walk around through life knowing that nobody else gets the references that I would make in certain situations to this story. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, oh, that was like when, it's like Seinfeld. You can just talk Seinfeld with random people. They're like, oh yeah, the episode where, the Chinese restaurant or what. Right. You can't do that with Saga.
I got a fun question. If just pick 2 characters, who would you have play them in a movie or a TV show? Ooh. And no budgets, no question or whatever.
I never once even thought about that.
That question.
And I don't know why.
I got one for Prince Robot. I would have Timothy Chalamet. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
I don't.
But he's like a kind of a skinny little kind of I don't want to say this as if it's an insult, but kind of a prissy actor. I would picture him as kind of a regal, very upstanding individual, but I think he would do a good job. The Will, the Will would be like, God, he's like a Clint Eastwood to me, but Clint Eastwood's too old. So
his son's not that
Bruce Willis.
Bruce
Willis. If Bruce Willis is probably a little too old, but I think Bruce Willis would play a really good fat, like rundown Will.
How about Ryan Gosling as the Will?
I was thinking Gerard Butler as Will.
Okay. See, you're picking bad actors though, you sons of bitches.
So
Gerard Butler.
I got nothing to defend there.
Gerard Butler. Yeah, he could play the Will, I suppose. Yeah.
Because he could be like the chiseled Will, and then he could be fat too, it's all good.
I don't know new actors. Like every time we talk actors or I'm asked questions about actors, I think I go straight to the 90s.
Oh, okay.
I don't really know new actors right now.
Yeah, well, Robert Pattinson could be cast to play Marco.
I don't agree with that.
Robert Pattinson can do it all, man. He can do it all.
Christ.
You can't go wrong with Robert Pattinson. But
Well,
yeah,
then then I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say Ben Affleck then.
okay.
Oh wow.
Actually, you know what? You just cast the will, because I just recently watched that new movie with Ben Affleck where he's like the drunk alcoholic basketball coach, kind of tortured, and he was great. So I'm gonna cast him as the will.
Okay, all right. I wouldn't mind seeing like when I see Alana, I'm almost thinking of either like what's her face? I think her name's Zoe
Kravitz, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And then oh gosh, hold on. Oh, as Goose, Andy Serkis as Goose. Just because he's a great voice actor.
Dude, I think Andy Serkis plays the Stalk in like a motion capture performance.
Yeah, that's not bad. I can see that.
But then who do you play the TV head people?
Well, no,
you get
here. TV head people. You ready for this? Nick Kroll.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say all the TV head people are real broadcasters. So you have like Rachel Maddow and Bill O'Reilly and you get the funny ones like Jon Stewart and Trevor Noah. Yeah, they're all played by TV broadcasters, news broadcasters.
Oh, boy.
Okay. All right.
The dad is just they use old footage from Walter Cronkite to play King Robot.
Now Larry King, just put Larry King up.
Yeah, there you go. Larry King, perfect.
He's a king.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Old rabbit ears.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to say. I know we don't want to let this go.
No, that's the tough part.
Yeah.
I know we don't want to let
back
this
to
go.
it. We'll be back eventually. It'll be
I mean,
fun.
it's really not that good, you know.
Yeah, it's fuck. I'm gonna throw it
You
away.
spent the first 5 minutes. 5 minutes, like this is a solid A+, and then you're finishing this. It's really not that good.
It's not that good. I mean, I've read better issues of comics like in the Sunday paper, the Calvin and Hobbes.
Not a lot of people know this, but there's actually like little comic strips inside Playboys too.
Ah, yes. Yeah. So that'll be my next pick is Calvin and Hobbes. Let's read something good for once.
I wouldn't turn that down. I mean,
but yeah, thank you so much again. I hate you both. Yeah, I don't know. So next week on Downright's channel, we will be finishing Superman, and everyone will be waiting with bated breath to find out what ComicManAndy, how he's going to ruin our lives this time.
Yeah, and that'll be on your channel, Andy.
oh boy, okay, yeah.
Do you want to invite us onto your channel, or will that just completely ruin?
Did I just invite ourselves over?
Yeah, right.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's perfectly fine. There's space for plenty of people there.
Yeah, I don't know if you say that now, but
yeah,
but I don't know.
I just got to think of something.
I'm sure you could find something, dude.
I'm sure. I mean, it doesn't look like you have many comics to choose from.
They're all Punisher. They're all Punisher. Saga.
There's some good Punisher
Oh,
stuff.
by the way, I watched Bloodshot, aka Punisher, only he's an undead guy with superpowers, and it was fucking terrible.
How did you not see that coming?
Oh, I mean, I expected it, but goddamn, yeah. There's another pick for the will, by the way, Vin Diesel.
Ooh,
He's as much as a bad act as bad as an actor as he is, that deep voice though, he nobody else has one.
Dude, he's great in Pitch Black.
Yeah, it's like
Pitch Black was great.
Pitch Black and not the what was the most recent Riddick one?
Riddick, right? It
yeah,
was just those two
were the good Riddick. The other two were pretty bad, but
I suppose we're kind of talking in circles here. But everybody, go read Saga if you haven't. Hopefully, we didn't spoil it for everyone. I know we spoiled it for someone in the chat, but you kind of should have known that was coming. I mean, Andy just spoils everything. So
it's in the title, Saga Volume 7 through 9.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
and like we said, everybody, the first 3 issues of Saga, the first 3 trade paperbacks, if you're a Comixology Unlimited member, you can borrow them for free, get yourself hooked, and then go ahead and buy everything else, and then turn around and do what I do, and then go buy the hardcovers and buy everything else that goes with it.
Yeah, I can't. These hardcovers now are a focal point on my bookshelf. By the way, they look great. So thank you
Nice.
for that too. I only had to spend $90 of my hard-earned money to be angry and upset. I could have just waited 7 more years and finished it all in one go. But thanks to you guys. Everybody have a good night. We'll leave it with that.
Yep. Peace.